This video may not be for everyone, and that's okay. I realized the other day I've been collecting comics off and on for 30 years. That's a long time. This made me reflect on some of the changes I've been through in my time as a collector. I've had a lot on my mind lately. It's early. My wife and son aren't awake yet. I don't have to log on to work for another couple of hours. I can be sleeping, but in my short period as a father, I've come to appreciate just how precious time is. I once heard an entrepreneur, G.R. Reitinger, talk about the dash. At the risk of sounding morbid, think of a gravestone. It contains the person's name, the day they were born, and the day they died. In between those two dates are a dash. Although seemingly small, the dash is actually the most interesting part of the gravestone. We were all born into this world, and one day, hopefully not for a long time, we will all leave this world. The time between then, the dash, is where life happens. It's our opportunity, our time to build our corner of the world. It's our story. How one chooses to do so is up to them. From the moment my son was born, I felt the clock ticking. I'm afraid of missing out. At times I'm overwhelmed with the notion, if I'm spending my time and money on anything other than bettering my family, I'm sabotaging myself and putting their future at risk. When I think about this and all the unopened books I've been meaning to start, the unread comics that are piling up, the videos I've yet to film, and the art I haven't created yet, all seem moot. I start to question, can I read comics, create art, create content, work, be a good dad, and be a good husband? I know that I'm not the only one who has faced similar questions both in and out of our community, but it's a balance I strive to attain. One I think about often. Lately I've found my need for stability has been reflected in my reading habits. I find myself gravitating less to comics with giant intergalactic, reality-shattering events many publishers promote on a seemingly semi-annual basis. Instead, the smaller, more emotional stories have been resonating with me. One that doesn't necessarily have a giant monster explosion, but rather an insightful and often emotional take on the human condition. Look, that's not to say that I'm done with the superhero genre entirely. My all-time favorites will always be in my collection. But there's also some amazing writers out there who have successfully figured out how to blend both types of stories. Think of Peter David's run on X Factor, Volumes 1 and Volumes 3. Saga. Tom King's work on Vision, Mr. Miracle, as well as his Batman-related work. And Vita Ayala's recent New Mutants run, for example. That's what I'm talking about. So what does all this have to do with comics? Aristotle once said, "The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance." I submit our values and who we are as a person at any given time are reflected in our reading habits. Take a minute and think about the comics that are on your pull list right now. What comics are sitting at your LCS just waiting for you to pick them up? Now ask yourself, why are you reading these titles? Do you feel a connection to a particular story or character? Why do you find it enjoyable to read one title over another? I firmly believe the things you read, watch, and listen to not only shape your mindset, but are also the byproduct of it. But there are only so many hours in the day and so many stories we can retain. One needs time not only for comics, but other aspects of your life. If I can impart one piece of advice to someone, whether they be a comic book reader, a content creator, an artist, or just somebody looking for answers, it's this. It is okay to take a break. Yes, the things that interest us, whatever they may be, do so for a reason, but don't allow them to engulf you. Don't let yourself get lost in the pages of a manufactured narrative. A timeout is good. It allows you to breathe, and it gives you perspective. It affords you the ability to focus on what matters and just enjoy yourself. And later on, when you come back to other things, in this case comics, you may think about it and appreciate it on an entirely different level. In the song Big Bang Baby by my favorite band of all time, Stone Temple Pilots, singer Scott Weiland sang, Does anybody know how the story really goes, or do we all just hum along? As I said at the start of this essay, one day we'll no longer be here. We'll be gone, but our legacy will live on. We will all be stories. While we may not have a say in how our story ends, we can dictate the narrative. No one else can or should determine this for you other than yourself. While you're here, fill your soul with these things that you cherish, but not at the expense of the people that you love. If there's anything I've learned from my family, from my friends, and to a different extent our little YouTube community, it is that the best adventures are always the ones we go on together. When life throws us the occasional plot twist, as it tends to do, just remember, breathe, trust the process, embrace the experience, and whether you stress yourself about it or not, life will always work itself out. Thank you for watching. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.